Hey guys, and welcome to this month's workshop. Today we're going to look at turning leads into paying clients without feeling pushy. So first of all, welcome. Just a few house rules before we do get started. This is a workshop style training, which means there's going to be lots of pauses as we go through, asking for insight from you and to answer any questions that you have as we start going through the trainings. The more you interact, the more you will get out of today's workshop. So please ask all the questions. And if you don't feel comfortable asking a specific question, then we can kind of go over it at the end if you kind of wanted to just catch up and go over anything specific that you don't really want to reveal to everybody. But the more we can interact, the more we actually learn from each other as well. But most of all, don't just watch the training and think that's a really interesting idea or that's a good way of doing it. Actually do the stuff that we're talking. Even if you just take one thing from today's training and it helps you in your business, then do it. Don't just think that's super interesting. Anyway, let's dive into it. So if you struggle with converting leads, then no, you are not alone. Probably everybody on this call now has probably been through stages where they're really struggling to convert, or maybe you are still kind of struggling to convert leads. So we're going to cover a simple non-salesy way to get more prospects signed up. I'll show you how our Fit Pro Incubator clients are doing it consistently, hitting their 15k months using these methods. But we're also going to look at how we did it at Fit Hub 30, selling a 6-week challenge for 269. Now the studio's been closed, coming up to 2 years now since we sold it. So if we were still going, we probably would have taken it up now, maybe closer to £3, maybe even closer to £350. So know that it's not really down to price. It is going to come down to how you sell the product that you want to sell. So let's dive into the main workshop then. So what's your biggest struggle when it comes to sales? Rich, what about you? Just one thing. What is like one of your biggest struggles when it comes to sales?
Probably having the confidence to actually try and get a payment over the phone. I always kind of flutter about a little bit. Maybe I don't have a direct plan on how I'm going to get that payment or that deposit. So probably confidence, really.
Perfect. We'll talk about a framework later on, which I think will be perfect for that. Glenn, what about you? What's kind of like been your biggest struggle when it comes to sales?
It's getting the real reason why they actually are there, to be honest.
Okay.
Like getting their why, that actually is the emotional drivers as such.
Yeah, makes sense. Neil, what about yourself?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
It's based, to be honest, the biggest thing I struggle with is actually getting a hold of people.
Okay.
I'm playing phone tag a lot. I'm sending messages, but getting people to answer the phone, that's the biggest struggle for me.
No, that's fine. Karen, what about yourself?
For me, will be asking for the payment. To be fair, I can build a good rapport with the people, but when it comes to the payment, that's where I kind of struggle a little bit.
Oh, so it's like that transition part, really, from conversation to now it gets serious, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Kim, what about yourself? Okay, we'll carry on, and if Kim can join, we'll see if she can see if she can join in as well. So why selling feels awkward for most Fit Pros? So most Fit Pros probably think that it's more about convincing people to join. Like you have to work hard to convince them that this is a good decision for them to make. That is awkward. That you dread saying the price, or you hate prospects saying no. So a real short story for me. When I got started, I was following a specific mentor way back in the day, and then he moved to America. If you know who I'm talking about, you'll definitely know. But he was charged £1,000 for 12 weeks. And I was doing okay. I was probably selling maybe 6 out of every 10. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to be super cocky here, and I'm going to charge £1,277. And I did it for about 3 months, and I was getting 1 out of every 10 say yes. And that was really hurting me because it was like, I know I can really help you make a difference. Why are you saying no? And it came to a point of, I kind of realised that no, getting too many no's is not a good thing for me. So I had to bring the price down. So there's going to be loads of different reasons about why sales are not going the way you want it to be, whether you feel awkward, whether you just dread people, whether you dread saying the price to somebody, or the fact that you just hate people say no. So, and I get it, like, you love coaching, you are a fit pro, your job is to help people look and feel better and all that stuff, and it's not actually being a salesperson. You didn't become a fit pro to become a salesperson. But your business really does need sales to survive. So the truth, selling isn't about pushing. It's about helping people make that right decision. The right people want to work with you. They just need clarity and confidence. So when we're talking about people just need the right decision, that's why you'll always go, let's say you go to McDonald's and they always say to you, oh, do you want to add an extra size, or do you want to supersize, or whatever it is? They're giving you that option to make a decision. Or when somebody says to you, this is price 1 and this is price 2, they then have to make the right decision about what is the right thing for them. So if you only have one price as well, that's definitely something to look at. But if you have 2 prices, it makes it so much easier to sell, because then you put the ball into their court that they have to pick one. So for everybody now, just quickly, if anybody wants to kind of answer this one, have you ever felt uncomfortable asking for the price? So I know Rich and Karen, of the transition phase of yours, that probably is part of it, feeling uncomfortable. But anybody else? No, Glenn's quite comfortable asking for the sale. Neil, feel good. Kim, I was able to hear you and see you. Now I can see it, not hear you. Oh, no. This is being recorded, Kim, so I'll send you the recording afterwards. Okay, so the 3-step non-sales pushy formula, okay? It really comes down to attract, educate, convert. Attract, get the right leads in the door so you're talking to warm prospects. 2, educate, show them why your program solves their problem without overwhelming them. And that's something I used to do all the time. I would just go way too deep about what the program was. And 3, convert, guide them to a decision without feeling like a salesperson. So when you do this right, clients chase you instead of the other way around. So question, where do you think you're losing people if we look at these 3 things? Attracting the right people to your program, educating them, sharing about what it is you have to offer and how the program's going to solve their issue, and converting them, getting them over the line. So Glenn, which one do you think it is for yourself? Glenn, convert, yeah.
Personally, I would say convert. It's getting them over that line. But like, I don't have a problem with asking for money, because I know that I can get
it's worth it
if they pay.
Yeah. Karen's gone with educate. Neil, what about yourself?
I think it's probably the conversion at the end of the day.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, people on the phone will say, right, I'll get back to you, or I need time to think about it. And I don't want to be pushy over the phone. Different skill set, I think, over the phone to doing face-to-face, and that's where my background lies.
Okay, yeah. Do you have bonuses up your sleeve that you can use?
No, I haven't.
Okay, we'll talk a little bit about that in a minute then. And Kim's saying attract high quality leads. And Rich, what about yourself? Any of these specific 3 relates to you?
I'd say it's more the conversion as well.
Conversion, yeah, okay. So let's move into each aspect now then. So we've got someone else just joined. Step 1, attracting the right leads so you're not dealing with time wasters. So stop speaking to everyone. Focus on your ideal clients. This is probably the biggest one that changed everything for Fit Hub 30. So instead of trying to work with everybody that I wanted to do in the boot camp, I became very specific. I only wanted to work with busy over 30s, just like my mum. That meant then everything I did, all content-wise, all sales content, everything was very specific to one person only. Granted, I know Rich has more of a commercial style setup with his offer, so then he just needs to try and refine or fine-tune it to be a specific person that can afford his price point at his gym, if that kind of makes sense. So we want to use landing pages, application forms and surveys to filter prospects away from freebie seekers. Again, this might differ if your offer is a free session, but we need to try and qualify that person. So if you are going down the route of a free session, then we need to put a couple of questions in place to try and find what are their long-term goals. And maybe even once they fill their details in for that free session, we then take them to a booking page where it explains that they can book in for their free session. And this is the price afterwards if they want to carry on. So again, you're qualifying them. For the rest of us doing more like challenges or programs or Kickstarters, a landing page with a lot of the details is really going to help remove the time wasters. Putting an application form or a survey in where you ask a couple of questions to learn more about their needs and desires and frustrations and goals helps you fine-tune that prospect. So it's all about helping try and find that right person. So using Lead Deck to automatically qualify the leads before you even speak to them via automatic text messages, automatic emails, asking key questions, using that booking page to get prospects to book first. Again, a huge one. If the prospect is going to book themselves in, they're going to be a much better qualified lead than you having to chase them down to want to get themselves booked in. And this is obviously if anybody that uses Dorothy AI comes in and she does a lot of the heavy lifting because she qualifies them via text, asking the questions so you're only speaking to the person that really wants to make a change now, not somebody that wants to make a change in 6 months, a year's time where you have to wait for them to be ready. So think about it now. Are you getting too many time wasters entering your funnels, entering your network? And what are you doing to kind of remove those people from it, or removing them from being able to get into your calendar or stood in front of you to waste your time? So Kim's saying, I added the booking link to my lead form. I found most people didn't continue to that and I had to contact them myself. Nice. So if you're putting that contact form on the page where they can book, we have to then share with them why it is essential for them to book. So whether it is, this is the final step, in order to really make sure that this program's right for you, I just need to ask you a couple of questions. When is a good time to chat? We need to not have a page that's super generic or plain, where it's just a booking, but we need to share with them that this is the next stage, this is the logical step in the process, while also putting loads of success stories on this page as well. So they are going to make their right decision. Likewise, when people do get to that booking page, they could be sat on a train, they could be watching their kids swimming, they could be doing a number of different things. So not everybody will book at stage 1. They might need to be followed up at stage 2 or stage 3 with text messages, with emails to try and get them to book in. So step 2 then is educating without overloading them. So by far the biggest mistake for most is dumping too much info on them. And this is confusing to the person wanting to buy. This is for a person wanting to buy, and this is also the same for a new client signing up. So we noticed this really quickly when we had FitHub 30, that when a person signed up, we would give them everything all in week 1. So we'd say you need to come to 3 sessions a week, you need to track all your food, you need to download MyFitnessPal, you need to participate in the Facebook group, you need to check in with your coach every single week. We give them all this stuff to do. And we noticed not many people got to the end of our 6-week challenge because we just overwhelmed them with so much content and so much that we were delivering to them. Eventually, we spread that whole thing out over the 6-week period where we would just say in week 1, just turn up 2 times a week. Just turn up twice in the first week. Don't do anything else. Just turn up twice. Then in week 2, let's move to twice this week. And then maybe can you write down what you had for breakfast? So we built them up gradually. This is exactly the same for selling. If you're trying to sell via text message or email, again, we don't want to overload everything in it, because if it's a huge email or a huge text message, they're going to just like go off that page straight away because there's just too much content on there. So it's all about really breaking it down into small chunks. And this is going to be the same again when you're having that in-person or over the phone consultation. Don't tell them that they need to come 3 times a week for 45-minute sessions with a 15-minute warm-up and a 5-minute cool-down, and they need to arrive 5 minutes before so they can park and put all their stuff into the lockers. They don't need all that information. That is going to confuse people. Really keep it as simple as possible. Give them basically the basic amount that they need to know that this is the right decision. For example, we all know the magic shakes out there. All they say to people is drink 2 of these a day and you will lose weight. There's no content dumping there. There's not overloading people with what they need to do. The magic shakes is basically drink 2 of these a day and you will lose weight. So easy. It's so easy, like anybody would understand what they need to do. Obviously, we know extremely bad for them, but their sales pitch is so easy. And we just need to look at what we can do to simplify selling when it is the same for us. So keep your message simple. What's the number one transformation they will achieve? So we would say to most people, come and join us for our 6-week challenge. Over the 6 weeks, we will help you lose between 1 and 1.5 stone, making you feel fitter, stronger, and giving you a load more energy and always having that smile on your face. We didn't dive into that. They need to turn up for a 45-minute session with a 15-minute warm-up and a 5-minute cool-down. And we did these type of trainings and it was periodized over these months and everything like that. We kept it super simple. This is also where the social proof comes in, using user-generated content to show your results. I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in a couple of slides, but what we want to try and do is we need to try and build a connection with the person sat in front of you. So we're going to talk about building that connection. We're going to talk about breaking the ice and getting them to remove the hurdles or fences in their way. But social proof and user-generated content is going to make a huge difference. So what I mean by that is social proof is reviews, before and afters, everything that they can relate to. So if they're a mother of 2, then try and find clients who've got results who's also a mother of 2. If you can then show that person working out in the studio, not just their before and afters, but them also working out, having a smile on their face, user-generated content, they're then going to feel a lot more relatable to that person, which makes that decision easier. You're then not selling the features of the program, you're selling the outcome. This is how you're going to look and feel, and look at the smile on the face that this person's got who's very similar to you. Doing this for your lead gen and sales process helps build know, like, and trust. So we were talking, I can't think we were just talking to them, but let's take Kim's example for now. When Kim's got that booking page up and prospects are landing on it, can we put success stories? Can we put pictures of happy clients? So when they land on that page, they're seeing people just like them, they're seeing results that they could get. But also, if they don't book on first attempt, they'll then get an email talking about Katie. Katie's lost 2 stone. She's also a mother of 2 who's currently going through a horrible divorce. She booked in and she started here. And then we move on to the next person and the next person and the next person. So we're building know, like, and trust via social proof and user-generated content so they can see and believe in your product and want to book from there. So the lead deck strategy basically is automated follow-ups with client wins and testimonials to build trust before that sales conversation. So if they do book in for the sales consultation, let's say that booking is, Friday, so 2 days away at 8 o'clock. Instead of saying in your message, hey, thanks for booking on Friday at 8 a.m. And then, hey, looking forward to speaking to you tomorrow at 8 a.m. And then you send a message a couple of hours before, hey, looking forward to speaking to you later. In each of those text messages, can you drop in a client success story? Hey, looking forward to speaking with you on Friday at 8 a.m. Here's just a few of our recent success stories. Have a look. And then one day before, hey, looking forward to speaking to you tomorrow. Here's a recent success story from this person. They've been doing well. I can't wait to see them. Again, we're building know, like, and trust via social proof. So all of us now, let's think, do you regularly share client results in your marketing? Neil, what about yourself?
Yeah, we have on our payment page on our website some kind of before and after pictures and some testimonials. And what I don't know if this is correct or you'd advise this, but when I'm on the phone, if they're in front of a computer, I'll literally direct them to that page, and I'll go through the page and the kind of story of that member that they're looking at.
Yeah, 100%.
Steph's been with us for 4 years. this was their journey, and then I'll make a few jokes and I'll put them at ease and I'll just guide them through the page.
Yeah.
And then what I find, if it's a good conversation and I build that rapport with them, they've literally then got the payment details right on that page, right in front of them there and then.
Okay.
And then I'm just on a call, babe. Ellen's shouting me down for lunch. But yeah, so that's what I do. I don't know if that's a good strategy or not.
No, that definitely a good strategy. The only thing we need to consider here is that obviously I know your target audience. A lot of the reasons why lots of people thought doing sales calls via Zoom would work, because obviously you can see the person sat in front of you and have a good conversation. But then you think about my mum, 52 or something, when she goes on her phone, it's super, super zoomed in. So when I send a text message, it's like really long. It's because it's like so zoomed in. We just have to make sure that the person you're speaking to is computer savvy enough to be able to go onto their phone while talking to you, load up that page with the testimonials, and be able to swipe while also talking to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just those small things we just need to think about. It's always think about that end user and how easy it is for them to do what you need to do. So Karen's saying, do you do this through WhatsApp as well? Yeah, 100%. So any follow-ups that you're doing, so even if it's just a message, so somebody submits their details for more information about the 6-week challenge, just say, hey, super excited that you shared your information. Can I ask 2 quick questions? And then you move into question 1, and that's where you can share a success story based on that question. So you might say, we just need to confirm that you're based in and around London. I think Karen's based. Let's just go with London as a simple one. Can you just confirm that we have a couple of clients recently who can't come, so we just need to make sure that you can come. So again, we're not diving into the real social proof showing them results, but we'll just confirm that they can travel, and you confirm that the reason why you're asking that question. And then maybe as you go through it, you can definitely do it in WhatsApp. It would be better in email, but because WhatsApp's just a short message. Good question, Karen. I'll let me try and think of different ways you can get that in. You could definitely get it in. It's just how you get it in such a short message. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah, because, for example, to get on this call, I got a WhatsApp message from you because I completely forgot. But that reminder is the reason why I'm here, to be fair.
Yeah. But they're the things. It is one of those difficult things, even after they book. So they book, and then the next page then needs to get them excited and motivated and want to be prepared for it. So maybe on that booking thank you page, that's where you load it up with case studies and everything, so they can be really excited and motivated about the conversation that they're going to have. We basically, the best conversation we can have is somebody that you phone up and say, oh, you know what, Karen, I've really been looking forward to this call with you. And you're like, wow, okay, this is going to be a super easy sales call, because they've done a load of research already about what it is you have to offer.
Yeah.
Glenn, Howard, any thoughts on this part?
It would be more to do with, for me, I haven't really done the testimonials, but it would be something that I'd be looking to add in, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Kim saying, not as regular as I should. I'm very sporadic and don't tend to have a plan.
So I need to do a lot better there, for sure.
Yeah, and I think this is one that we've been working on a lot recently at FitPro. We always think that when it comes to sharing success, we can only share the most amazing success stories. So like client 1 drops 3 stone and like, this is really amazing. But not everybody's going to achieve that. So if somebody's coming to you and they only want to lose half a stone, or they just want to tone up a tiny bit, and all we're posting is amazing results, then maybe they can't see themselves in those results. So what we're trying to do a lot now, and we're trying to push this a lot in the incubator, is we want to share success stories from large to small. So if a client has been turning up and she's texted you saying, you know what, Glenn, I'm feeling really confident at the minute. The sessions you've been putting on have really given me that energy and that bit of motivation, and I'm just starting to feel super confident. That is a success story. So it doesn't have to be outrageous and like 5 stone, 6 stone, an amazing transformation. It needs to be those short ones as well. Even if it's a case of, hey Glenn, you know what, I've got loads more energy now and I'm feeling more confident taking the kids swimming. That's a great success story. That is a screenshot and that can go out on your social media. So definitely for what Kim's saying here, don't think like you need to go super wide and super crazy. Go for those, but also go for the small, real, meaningful ones as well. Okay, number 3, converting without feeling salesy. So people buy when they feel safe, confident, and excited. The perfect example of this now is you're walking down the high street and one of those charity people comes up to you and you're like, hey, stop, give me some money. Instantly, you don't feel safe. Instantly, you don't feel confident. And instantly, you don't feel excited. And you're like, I don't have time for this, mate, and walk off as quick as possible. Because they haven't made you feel safe, confident, and excited. So you don't need the script. We used to have scripts and we used to think, yeah, they were the best thing ever. But then when we were talking to a prospect and they were going completely off tangent and we're like, well, that isn't in the script. Where do I go from here? We would lose that sale. All we needed was a framework that made it easy for them to say yes. So you have key things that you need to get out of this sales consultation. And then for Rich and for who else said it was that transition, I can't think who else said it, but that helps the transition become a lot easier because you know once they've ticked off these 3 or 5 things that I need, I can now transition them into that sales. Until I get 3 or 5 things that I need ticked off, I can't transition because I know they don't feel safe, they don't feel confident, and they're not excited about the program. So we basically go for an ask, listen, guide method. So ask the right questions to find the real problems. And I think that was Glenn that said he can't really find that real problem situation. Listen, let them tell you what they need, then guide them to see that your program is the solution. So how many times have you had people say, I'm interested, but then ghosted you? That is usually because we haven't got one of these 3 things. They don't feel safe, they don't feel confident, and not excited about what you have to offer. So we need to build that up. So think about the times that you've had people say that to you, and then think about where did that conversation go? What did you say that maybe turned them away? So the 4 questions that we always ask. What is it you're looking to achieve? So we need to try and figure out what their actual goal is. And if you can't get it, you just want to dig. Why? Can you tell me more? What do you mean by that? So dig into it. So what are you looking to achieve? I just want to lose a bit of weight. That isn't like an achievable goal. Like you don't know. So if someone said, what if I said to somebody, what are you looking to achieve? And they said, I just need to lose a bit of weight. I'd be like, what do you mean by that? Or can you tell me a little bit more? Or how much weight are you looking to lose? We need to try and find real pockets. We need to try and find real bits of information that's going to make our life easier. And she goes, oh, well, yeah, I'm just not feeling confident in my clothes anymore. So now we're starting to build a picture. They want to lose weight because they don't feel confident in their clothes anymore. And then you move into it a bit further. So are you looking to lose 1 dress size or 2 clothes sizes? Kind of how far do we need to go with this? And then you might go 1 clothes size or 2 clothes size. So now you know they want to lose weight because they don't feel confident in their clothes and they need to lose 2 dress sizes. You're starting to build this real big picture about what it is they want to achieve. We then look at why is now the right time to start. They're always going to say that now is the right time to start, but we need to know why now. Once we have why now, it's going to make it so much easier when it comes to that sale. We then move into what's stopping you from doing it yourself. All we're doing here, as you can see, is we're building up a real big ammunition pot for yourselves. So if they start giving you excuses about why they can't do it, well, you can say, well, didn't you say that you really struggled with finding the motivation and that's why you've not been able to get into your favourite clothes because you can't stop eating or you don't feel confident going to the gym or whatever that reason is. And then the 4th one is you kind of build the whole thing together. So what is it you're looking to achieve? Why is now the right time to start? What's doing it from yourself? And then you move into how would it make you feel if we could help you achieve these goals in just X? X is always key because X gives them a time frame to believe that they can achieve it in. And if you're confident in your service and you know it's a realistic goal, then you can definitely help them achieve that. Obviously, if we're selling commercial stuff, £25, £40 a month membership, it's going to be slightly different. The questions could be the same, but then X is going to be that little bit different there. So this style opens them up to give you all the information you need and why they need your help. Then exactly what you need to say, then exactly what you need to say to show them that this offer is for you. So you know what they want, you know why it's the right time to start, and you know what's stopping them. So when you're repeating your program to them, you basically just need to tick those 3 boxes off. So these are the questions that we would ask when doing sales consultations at Fit Hub 30. So remember these 4 questions, and we're going to slot these 4 questions in now to the breakdown of it. So we'd always aim to close on the phone. So we always used to do in-person consultations at the start. So we'd phone that person up. Then let's say you phone, out of all the leads that you get, let's say, 50% answer the phone. So if you had 5 leads, 10 leads, 5 people would answer that phone. You would then probably get half of those people booked in. So let's say 3 people booked in. You'd probably then get half of those people turn up. So you're down to 1 or 2. So 10 leads, 1 or 2 sales. And we were like, you know what? We booking 2 people in and 1 person showing, booking 2 people in and 1 person showing. That's a lot of wasted time. So now we focused on selling over the phone, but if we had to do an in-person as a backup, we would do that. So always try and sell over the phone. So if you had 5 leads, 10 leads and 5 people answered, at least you're having a sales conversation with 5 people. Then if half of those people signed up, then you're talking at 2 to 3 compared to 1 person when you're doing it in person. The only difference where you might have to do it in person is depending on the price of the product or the service of the offer. So if you're charging like £400, £500, £600 upwards, it might be better to do it in person just because it's such a high value offer service that they might not feel comfortable doing it over the phone. So for those people that joined on time, Howard, I'm not shouting at you at all. The first thing we did, Glenn, no worries, I'll send you the replay anyway, Glenn. The first thing we did when you joined this call was we looked at building a rapport. I was like, Karen, I know about you. I talked about your gym. Rich, I know about you. You have a commercial gym up near Blackpool, I think it is. Karen, I knew you, but I wasn't confident with, where's the mouse gone? Oh, he's left, has he? Who's the guy? I couldn't remember his name, where he was. Michael. So Michael joined and I had no idea who Michael was. So I just asked to learn a little bit about him. So I found out he was a PT. He wasn't great with chasing leads and he had his own little studio. I was building a rapport. I was trying to have small talk with the prospect or with everyone on this call to learn and discover about their business before we even dived into anything. So when we're jumping on the phone, when we're doing face-to-face, it's all about building that rapport with the prospect. Small talk, okay? How was the day? How was the traffic? Did you find it okay? God, the traffic or the roadworks in that place is a nightmare, aren't they? We're basically trying to make it super easy. Break tension, reduce their guard, and show connection. So if we're selling over the phone and they've got kids screaming in the background, you're like, oh, don't worry about it at all. Usually my kids are always here, but they're away with their mum or their dad or their grandparents. Break that tension, okay? Reduce the guard and show connection, that you've got something in common with them. If we were doing it in studio as well, something that Neil was talking about, comment, sales call, do you take the sign-up booking over the phone and send a link? Always take the payments over the phone, Howard. We'll talk about that in a minute, okay? If we were doing it in the studio, we would always walk them past the success wall and we would stop at the success wall so they could look at the success stories. So we'd welcome them in. The success wall was more or less as they walked in. So we'd stop there and that's where we'd have our small talk so they could see the success stories. Again, small things that might make a huge difference to the end result. Next, we would walk them through the 4 questions that we talked about on those previous slides. Where possible, sharing clients who have been through similar situations. So what is it you're looking to achieve? You know what, I've got a wedding coming up and I really want to get into my bridesmaid dress. You're like, no way. We've literally just had a client who's been on that similar journey too. This is the results that she's been achieving. Actually, let me find a picture of her. Here's the picture of her. Now you're showing that connection. You're breaking attention, reducing the guard, using your clients as a way to show like these are the results that you can get. We would slow down the speed of talking too. And this is a huge one. When we talked about it earlier about not overloading them with content, this is the same for when you're having a sales consultation. You don't want to go too fast, because if you go too fast, it makes it a little harder for them to understand what you're talking about. So you want to slow it down. You want to get them relaxed. You want to get them breathing normally. You want to get them to understand everything that you're talking about. And then when they start talking, we also have minimal interruptions about what they're saying. So when they start talking, we need to try and take everything in. So we've got all that information. The only time you'll interrupt is if they go massively off tangent and they're moving into a completely different aspect of the conversation. You just need to pull them back in. 3, we would then move into the offer transition, which I know we were talking about earlier, asking if they would like to know more about the offer. And that is the easiest transition there is. So you're like, what is it you're looking to achieve? Why is now a good time to get started? What's stopping you from doing it yourself? And how would it feel if how would it feel if over the next 6 weeks we can literally help you drop that one stone and get you into your bridesmaid dress? Yeah, you know what, that would make a huge difference. Great. Would you like me to tell you a little bit more about our 6-week challenge? They say yes. They're not going to say no. They've now given you the opportunity to move into it. You're like, great, sure, okay. So what we'll do over the next 6 weeks, we'll work closely with you, really making sure that you're working out 3 times a week. And if you don't turn up, literally Holly will phone you to make sure you're going to turn up. And if you don't turn up, she'll want to know why you're not turning up. So we've got the accountability sorted there. And then you start moving into all the other aspects of the things of why they can't do it themselves or what's stopping them or why now's the perfect time. You move into that stuff. Again, ask to move into the sales. Super easy. So you'll be like, hey Karen, thanks for all that information. Do you want me to tell you a little bit more about what we do here? They're going to say yes. They're not going to say no. That's giving you permission to now move into it. Finally, we send with the end result and benefits instead of talking about the features. So we don't talk about, you're going to use these barbells. Each barbell costs £350, so please don't slam them on the floor. Be really careful with them. We're going to use these kettlebells as well. We've got a range of colours. Make sure you put them back in order. We're not going to talk about the features. We're going to talk about the end result and the benefits of it. Unfortunately, we're never going to get 100% close rates, so not everyone is going to buy, and you will know quite quickly if you're talking to a valid prospect. And this is one of the worst things that we all do, that we think we can help everybody. Your time is precious. Therefore, if it's a bad prospect, end the consultation ASAP. If you know you're talking to a time waster, just know that there's no point taking them any further. And you don't have to say, unfortunately, you don't have to just end it. Just make it nice and easy. Based on what you're telling me right now, I just don't think we can help you. Or based on what you're saying, I just don't think we're the right people for you. I can give you some tips and hints, but what you're asking or what you're needing, it's not something that we offer. Here's a few ideas. Walk them out of the gym, end that phone call conversation. Don't just end it rudely or abruptly, because again, they might come back or they might send referrals to you, but just let them know that unfortunately what you're asking for, what you're looking for, what you need is not something that we can help with right now. Not all good prospects are going to buy either, which is the worst part. You want all good prospects to buy. So when doing sales consultations, it's important to review after each one. So if you do it on phone and you can record it, perfect. If you're doing it in person and you're writing notes, think about it. But you want to try and review after each one. Where did the prospect stop talking? What question did really confuse them? Why are they not signing up? Really think about it. Look at where maybe it's gone wrong. Review the keywords that you said and then you can prove on it last time. But most of all, the reason for a non-sale was because you didn't show enough value in the offer or service that you're selling. So if you're selling somebody £150 for a 6-week challenge, kickstart, program, whatever it is, and they're saying no, then you haven't highlighted the real value of what you're doing. So like I said, when we used to do in-person consultations, the main thing we used to do all the time is I would sat with my back to a wall that said just up here above me, PT £40 an hour. That's called price anchoring. So I'm putting a price above my head to share with them that if they want to work with us for PT, it's £40 an hour. So I say, you know what, you'd come for 3 sessions a week, and I think, bloody hell, £120. But you're going to go for 6 weeks. God, it's going to be loads of money. Yet the whole program's 150 quid or whatever it is. We're price anchoring. But we're also not showing. So if people are saying no, you're probably just not showing enough value. They don't believe in it. The iPhone, everyone's happy to spend £1,000 for an iPhone. But if someone said, you know what, this latest Nokia, which is very similar to the iPhone, is £1,000, you probably think, ooh, that's quite expensive. Because again, they're not showing the value. Let me explain a bit more, okay? So overcoming objections with feeling not right. So I need to think about it. They're not clear on the value. So they need to think about it. They're not sure that what you're offering is value for money. It's too expensive. They don't see the ROI yet. They don't see the return on investment. So 300 quid for a 6-week program where you're going to lose 1.5 stone. You're going to get back into your favourite clothes. So you don't need to go and buy a load of new clothes. Not only that, but we're going to make food super simple. You don't need to even go and buy all these crazy things that you feel are super healthy. Again, you're giving them, you're showing them that it's not that expensive. They need to ask their partner, not emotionally committed either. Again, a huge one. There's loads of different aspects to this, but if they need to say, I need to speak to my partner, they're not emotionally committed to it. They can't really see how they could fit into this, that they don't believe that this is the right decision for them. The secret is it's always going to be handle objections before they come up by showing them urgency. So why now is the best? Risk reversal, guarantees or no risk trials, and social proof. So this is all what we talked about in those 4 stages and what we did at Fit Hub 30. We were trying to combat all of these. So why is now a good time to start? Urgency. Social proof. This is somebody who was going through the same thing that you were and you were getting the results. Risk reversal, that's always a tough one. Guarantees or no trial risks. Loads of different ways of doing that. I wouldn't say money back guarantee, but what you could say is if you don't get results in 6 weeks, we'll give you another 6 weeks for free. Or if you're not enjoying it after week 1, then there's a no hard feeling and you just go on your way type of thing. So again, there's loads of different ways here, but urgency, risk reversal and social proof are going to be key to kind of coming over these. But mainly, they don't see the value. So if you're hitting them with a price and they say, oh, I'm not sure, it's because what you've shared doesn't show enough value compared to that price. So question, which of these objections do you hear the most? Neil?
So by far, it's I need to ask my partner.
What's your comeback?
I'll say, I say I completely understand, but is there anything I can clear up for you now? So when you're talking to them, you can explain it better.
Yeah.
If in person, when I do the sales one-to-ones, I always just explain the benefits a little
Say it again, sorry.
more, and then say, I'll tell you what, let's do the form, let's do the membership form, and then when you spoke to your partner, then we can take the details.
Yeah,
So that makes
100%.
a bit of a commitment, filling out the form, and then once they've had that conversation, then we take the payment.
No, that's a good one. Holly would always try and take some money off them as well. So it would be a case of, you know what we'll do is we'll get you signed up now, and if your partner really does say no, then don't worry, I'll literally refund the whole thing. It is just being confident in what you offer is the main thing about it. Kim saying, I need to think about it. I need to think about it is that you haven't shown enough value. So they need to see that they're going to come and train with you 3 times a week. You've got their back. You're holding them accountable. You're going to help with their nutrition and everything. And they can't see that £30 a week or whatever it is not worth it. Because you then just need to start price anchoring as well. So like we said, the £40 for a PT. say, cool, if you are going to work with a PT up in Scotland, it's going to cost you around £40 an hour for a PT. But for £40 a week here, not only do you get 3 sessions a week coached by expert personal trainer Kim, but she's also going to hold you accountable. She's also going to make sure you're eating correctly. She's also going to put you with a group of like-minded people just like you. £40 a week is literally only like X amount a day or whatever it is. Again, you need to know these real small numbers so you can hit them with these type of things. But that is going to be it. Karen, it's too expensive. How much is the program, Karen? $220 a month, and you're based in London. Oh, that's not bad really, no, because I'm guessing most people around you are charging £50, £60 for a PT session, I'm guessing, yeah. I know, Howard, you're literally deep in central London, so you're probably talking £80, £90 for a PT session where you're based, yeah. Yeah, and that's why I said your prices were too cheap the other day.
Yeah, that's what we want to talk about, isn't it? Yeah.
I get that too, and mine is 179 for the 6 weeks. Yeah, 100. So 179 really isn't a lot. But do you think that's a you thing? Do you think that you're not confident in sharing the value, or is it them that they just feel scared about it? So that's why at the end of every sales consultation, you need to reflect not just on them, but also on you. Where did you maybe slow down? Where did you not feel confident? Where did your voice maybe wobble a little bit? Think about you and then them. Were they not fully focused? Did I not break the ice enough? Did I not help really feel them welcomed and relaxed when they come in? So there's loads of different aspects to both of it. So not only just for yourself, but also for them as well. So then the follow-up system, okay, so most or 80% of the sales happens after the first consultation. We all know this. You spoke to somebody today, they say no, in a couple of weeks' time, a couple of months' time, they then follow up. So the key is a structured follow-up that keeps the leads engaged. So with lead deck, remember, follow up, so you don't forget. So one of the best things we can do, we talk about this all the time, is if someone says no today, remind them tomorrow and just give them a small discount for a specific reason. The best one is the next day. Let's say Kim comes in, I speak to Kim and she doesn't sign up today. I will text her tomorrow saying, hey Kim, it was great chatting to you yesterday and I was really excited about the things that you were saying. I just want to let you know somebody's just dropped out last minute, so I can knock £20 off because they forfeited their deposit. So instead of being 179, it's 159. Do you want me to send you a link to get started? Now, if you send that text message out and you get one person out of every 5 accept it, then that text message is definitely worth it. So next day, no sale, next day follow-up. It's such an easy text message to send. But again, if they don't sign up, let's get them into more reminders, more follow-ups, more know, like, and trust, more social proof. Send reminders, testimonials, and limited time incentives. So again, after 1 month of them saying no, what is a special offer that we can send them? What extra motivational or testimonials can we send them? What things can we send? Track responses to know exactly when to re-engage as well. So again, if we're sending a text message 1 month after, what is the response rate like? Should it be 2 weeks? The no sale next day follow-up, what's that like? Do we need to change that? Again, a lot of this just needs to be tracked. The more you can track it, the better results you're going to get. So if you're doing 1 in 10 and you can change a couple of things, that turns to 2 in 10 or 3 in 10, then you're going to make way more sales. So obviously in the incubator, we give you all the copy and paste stuff so you can just put this straight in. For example, the no sale next day follow-up. So are you following up with leads and more specifically no sales after they say no? Neil, when somebody says no, is that the end of the conversation? Is that the end of the road, or do you never message them or chase them down again?
So what I tend to do on a Sunday is go through all the calls on lead desk and send them a WhatsApp or actually give them another call.
Yeah.
But I haven't actually put together an offer. I think that's a great idea. So I'm going to implement that straight away.
It doesn't have to be outrageous. You don't need to knock huge vasts of money off. Again, if you call it a deposit, they just think, okay, the £20 deposit, that's a small saving. £10 could literally be whatever you want. But yeah, just keep chasing them down. And with the people that you're following up on the Sunday, then what is the response rate like?
It's not great. Going back to that's my biggest issue is that I don't have a lot of time with coaching with the girls to actually make calls. It's like 1 or 2 hours here and there every day.
Yeah.
So the answer rate is very low. So even on a Sunday when I'm spending hours calling people, it's maybe one out of every 10 person that will answer.
Okay.
And I'll just keep going through lead deck until I get 5 people answer.
No, 100%. So something that Karen was saying earlier, and thinking about what you're saying now, that you have limited time. WhatsApp, the benefit of WhatsApp, and a lot of people obviously do this in lead deck now, is they will record a video and put it into the automation so it looks like you've just sent them that video, or it can be a picture of you. So you could just put their name, automatic pulls in their name. So, hey Neil, thanks for showing interest in your 6-week challenge. I'm currently just in a session, or currently about to start a session. Can I just ask you a few quick questions and I can send you more information? And then you just go and take a picture of you just at the start of a session and then put that into an automation. So that means every time a lead submits their details, they get that text message that kind of shows that you're busy and you just need to ask a few questions, and they can see and feel. They obviously can't feel you, but they understand who you are because they can actually see a picture, a real life picture of you in a position like in your gym, in your studio setup, so they know it's more authentic.
That's fantastic. Yeah. That's great.
And yeah, Karen's saying for videos work brilliantly as well. The only downside to videos is we need to try and match the audience all the time. So a lot of you probably know that I hate voice notes. But if some people, I will say, please don't send me a voice note, do it via text message. But if they keep sending me voice notes, I will then have to voice note them back because it needs to match them. And it's always the same. And we always get taught this in sales. If someone sat there with their arms crossed, you also need to mimic them. If they got one leg over the other, you need to mimic them. You just need to make them feel confident that they're in your surroundings. So what have we got here? Time to allocate for discovery calls makes it too long, 30 to 45 minutes. 60 minutes is way too long. If it was a high value one, 60 minutes is totally fine. But if we're not charging vast amounts of money, then we need to be done in 30 minutes because you obviously need to move on to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. Do you recommend doing group calls for sales onboarding instead of one-to-one? No, we only ever did on over the phone or in-person one-to-one. The onboarding then was in groups because that would save us a load of time. So what we ended up doing is we'd start every third Monday. So we'd bring everybody in on the Sunday beforehand and do a big group onboarding. And the people who were on the fence, they would also be brought in for the group onboarding. So if they hadn't bought at that point before the onboarding, we could then get the money over the line. But no, we'd always try and do the sales one-on-one. I add them to my general mailing list and they are kind of forgotten about. I need to put something in place to follow up so many leads over the past years I've lost. Yeah, definitely. Just keep chasing down. The newsletter is such an easy one to do. We can talk about that in a minute as well. Okay, let's build your clients. So now you know how to attract, educate, convert without feeling sales and pushy, but doing is what gets the results. Like Kim was just saying there, she's got all these leads, but she's just not following up with them. Inside the incubator, the 15 and 90, this is what we give you. We give you all the pre-made stuff, so it's all done, all the scripts, all the copies, all the templates, all the downloads, everything. So it's all more or less plug and play. It's just then specific to you. So if you want to know more about the 15K and 90 or the incubator, just drop me a message and we can have a 20-minute call to go over some of the stuff that you can do yourself. And then if it feels right, then you can join the incubator from there too. But finally, questions on today's topic.